Good morning, Charlie Pierce.
Morning, Jody Hamilton.
Okay, good morning, Charlie. Hi, I'm here too.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Can I say you had my favorite?
I was keeping you updated every day of your vacation on how far you'd ridden your bike.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I like that the day you went to Neptune. I thought that was really nice.
That was fun. Yeah, that was fun. Listen, you had my favorite.
Oh, by the way, before we get into anything,
yes,
Thursday is also my second dolly shot.
Oh, hooray!
Hey!
My first.
It's vaccination week among the mooks.
Yeah, my first dolly shot is Friday. Very exciting. Very exciting. Yay!
And Jody's getting one on Thursday, I hear.
Yes.
Yes.
Which, do you know what you're getting? Did you say Pfizer? Yeah.
No, I'm a dolly shot.
No,
guy.
I'm asking Jody. Jody?
No, I believe I'm Moderna because when they scheduled my second shot, it's 28 days later, so that would be Moderna.
How much later is Pfizer?
21 days.
Oh, okay. All right. I did not know. Okay. You had my favorite reaction to Lindsey Graham's tough guy with an AR-15 rant. You said Rambo 6 fainting couch. That's fantastic.
I couldn't believe that.
Yeah.
First of all, have you ever seen a picture of Lindsey Graham's house?
Oh, God.
He lives out in the middle of the freaking woods. I mean, who's he defending himself against? Squirrels?
He's so ridiculous.
Raccoons.
He's just so ridiculous. Speaking of which, you tweeted watching Dr. Deborah Birx's bombshell interview on CNN brought an enormous temptation toward ungovernable rage. Yeah, I had the same reaction. It was.
I knew I had to watch it for work.
Yes.
You know, because you want to comment on it, you have to watch it. But I'm sitting there like chewing on my own arm.
Yeah.
Thinking, Hippocrates is going to come back and like light you on fire, lady.
Yes.
You took an oath before you went to work for the government.
Yeah.
And it's like 4,000 years old. It's a very important oath.
Yeah. I kept saying, Charlie, obviously Trump is the major villain in all this, but you don't have to, we played this vomitously sycophant soundbite that everybody remembers about his talking about Trump's keen understanding of the data and blah, blah, and the granular. Do you think he even knows what granular means?
Yeah, I was going to say, he thinks granular is what you have for like breakfast.
Yes.
If you need to like cleanse yourself.
It's not a whole grain, is it? I don't eat those.
Which I suspect he does at least once a week. Just for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but I was saying, and there certainly was a way to diplomatically, as a doctor, say, no, sir, you don't shove a UV light up your ass or drink bleach. Like, seriously.
And telling people to shoot up bleach is not a public health priority right now, sir.
Oh, all of these. By the way, speaking of Lindsey, I just forgot on your Lindsey Graham thing. Someone tweeted yesterday, had to remind me, Chris, when we were talking about this, and him saying, well, I count me if it's about, mental illness, then count me in. But I'm just young, I'll take my AR-15. And someone said, didn't Lindsey and the Republicans actually lift the ban on selling guns to the mentally ill early in the Trump administration?
Computer says yes.
Yes. Yes. They let the Obama rule expire, letting mentally ill people get guns. So they're
that's right.
That's Lindsey took advantage of that loophole, obviously.
I mean, Charlie, we obviously all these stories getting interconnected about voting in, Georgia and et cetera. And so everybody was doing this tweet proposal. You can only purchase a gun one time every 2 years. It can only be on a Tuesday in November. You must go and wait in line. There's only one place in your county. You must have multiple forms of ID. No one can give you water while you wait. I mean, it is just so absurd, right? How much easier it is to get a gun than to vote. And
sure. I mean, that was the case in Texas, where you could use your gun owner's ID, but not your college ID to vote.
Yeah,
as legitimate, ID cards.
Yeah, because students tend to vote Democratic.
These are articles of faith now, and they're not even being shy about it anymore.
No. Not at all. I mean, and you wrote a piece about Jane Mayer's. This is pretty extraordinary, hearing the conference call between Mitch McConnell and this Koch Industries, whatever. So they did a poll. This is from the New Yorker. As you quote, the speakers on the call expressed alarm at the broad popularity of this is the Democrats' voting bill. Bill's provision calling for more public disclosure about secret political donors. The participants conceded that the bill, which would stem the flow of dark money from such political donors as Koch, was so popular that it wasn't worth trying to mount a public advocacy campaign to shift opinion. Instead, a senior Koch operative said opponents would be better off ignoring the will of American voters and trying to kill the bill in Congress. Well, this is the same play Republicans run every time. And you're right, Charlie,
Exactly.
it's all out in the open now, right?
And when they talk about the Congress, they're clearly talking about the Senate.
Right.
Because they can't do anything about the House.
Right.
There's no filibuster in the House. They can't block anything while they're in the minority in the House.
Charlie,
assuming that Nancy continues to keep her caucus in line.
Do you think they will at least try to do a one-time thing for voting rights? Because I just think there's no, I mean, David Plouffe, I mean, I don't, people that are not really given to hyperbole. Did you hear what he said? The Georgia voting restrictions mean that if Georgia does not like the results of an election, they can throw the election out, not certify. Georgia is only the beginning. If we do not pass H.R. 1, democracy can very well be over. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like if they don't pass voting rights, none of these other issues will matter.
The only thing that makes me feel optimistic is I really do get the sense that people realize they've pushed this too far.
Yeah.
The not being able to give water and food to people in line. People may not understand the role of federalism in running elections, but they understand that. I mean, they understand standing in line. They understand being thirsty.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
in the middle of a public health pandemic.
Everybody's talking about the Onion headline said, Georgia's going to make sure voters stay hydrated with fire hoses. I mean, that's how blatant the racism.
Like
but that's how blatant the racism is, right?
Right. No, it's racist. It's classist. It's basically every demographic group of voters you find inconvenient.
Yeah.
We're going to do something to make it harder for them to vote.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, speaking of voting, we're going to talk to Jill Wine-Banks about that.
And the thing is, it's not even working for the people who are engaging it. Brian Kemp's going to have a primary challenge.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't overturn the election.
Oh, I think they've absolutely, poked the bear. They have waked a sleeping giant in terms of what's going to hopefully happen when Governor Stacey Abrams takes over. But can I just say, in speaking of voting, the Dominion lawsuit, we're going to talk to Jill Wine-Banks about that, against not only Fox News, but legal experts are saying this is really pretty serious. And it also, Secret Agent number 6 on Twitter said, always remember, Tucker Carlson's lawyers argued in court that no reasonable person would believe anything he says. Well, that's Sidney Powell's defense.
Right.
It's so ridiculous.
She borrowed it from Tucker. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean,
go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Just a reaction.
I mean, this is, a very, very familiar corporate tactic being engaged on the side of the angels this time. I mean, corporations are forever suing, activist groups and environmental groups for, slandering them in public, even if they've, turned rivers purple and orange. So now it's been those same people are getting it fed back to, the cheerleaders for those lawsuits are getting it fed back to them in a big way.
Yeah.
I think Dominion's got a case.
Well,
yes, absolutely.
If Dominion can prove that it's cost them money, they've got a real case.
Let me ask you something. Do Trumpers, do these people, whatever percentage it is, do they not follow any news like that? That Sidney Powell and Tucker Carlson and the people they believe have to argue in court that no one should take them seriously, that it's so ridiculous that no one should believe it. Do they hear that? Does it affect them?
I don't have any idea. I know that, people have been, dining on this, indigestible crud on the radio and TV for decades now. And I think it's just demolished, how you're struggling to get your sense of taste back.
Yeah.
These people are struggling to get their levels of discernment back.
Yeah.
They can't tell anymore. I mean, they've burned out the circuits in their brain that allow them to differentiate between nonsense and not nonsense.
Yeah. I mean, let's talk about believing our own eyes and the Derek Chauvin trial. I mean, I don't know how there's any clearer evidence than that 9.5 minutes of watching this mother. But Dr. Jason Johnson, our friend, said So the Chauvin trial defense is basically George Floyd would have died that day at that exact time because of fentanyl in his system, and being suffocated by a cop had nothing to do with it. In a just system, you wouldn't even be able to make an argument that ridiculous. And our friend Kirsten Johnson said, if I have cancer and someone shoots me, the cause of death is not cancer. I mean, you really can't believe they're making that argument, right?
Oh, I can't. I mean, you can't blame a duck for quacking. This is the defense they have left.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no other defense for them. If they didn't think they could win a trial, they'd have taken a plea.
Right.
So I'm not going to be like morally offended that they've mustered together, the only defense, however implausible there is. Although, I mean, I can understand why the family would be enraged. But, what else? Did anyone expect them to do anything different?
I guess.
I mean, they get to say fentanyl over and over in the courtroom now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought his lawyer made a good point too, that, that's not what an opioid death looks like.
Right.
You're not screaming, I can't breathe and I want my mother.
You go to sleep.
Yeah,
You don't like yell for your mom.
Yeah, exactly.
And don't tell your children you love them. You go to sleep and don't wake up.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, all right. Well, we will talk more about the legal ins and outs with, but it is just, it's infuriating.
You've got the the big pin lady coming.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's just, it is, Charlie, the
book is terrific.
You think
by
that
the
no
way.
one will
It
ever,
is.
yeah, she is, but you'll think you'll never get convicted. If you watching someone do that for 9 minutes on tape is not enough. That's, we can't believe our eyes that that's obviously murder, right?
Well, I stopped asking the question, isn't that enough after Sandy Hook when nothing was done on guns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing is ever enough when it runs up against, the walls of ignorance and prejudice that we have.
Yeah.
This ought to be enough to change policing in the country. The kid out in Boulder, the violinist, should have been enough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Rodney King should have been enough.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what we learned about the LAPD should have been enough. It's never enough.
Yeah. Do you want to know a 1 degree of Stephanie Miller separation as it regards Daryl King? Do you remember him? Chris, he was the LAPD police chief then.
Yeah.
They fired him.
Daryl Gates.
What?
Daryl Gates.
Daryl Gates. Yes,
Daryl
they
Gates.
fired him at my old radio station to give me his job, his time slot, and my program director talked about how completely terrified he was to take him out because remember they always did the firings over lunch. Chris, they're like, "Would you like to go to lunch?" And that's where you always got fired. And so he said,
Always go to
he said, I don't think I've ever.
The theory is you won't make a scene in the restaurant, right?
Right.
It's right. But anyway, he's like, I've never been sweated that much in my entire life when I had to take Daryl Gates to lunch and fire him.
The one time I was fired in my life, the boss brought me into his office to do it and figured that would be, and close the door. That would be a good thing. And then I threw his tape dispenser through a closed window.
Yeah. No, you always take them at least to a conference room. Yeah, you never fire someone in your office.
And I don't know if he mentioned that he was being replaced by a liberal lesbian communist. So I don't. Sure, that might have further enraged him. But okay.
I may have to go online and try to find copies of the Daryl Gates show. I'm sure he did. His show was like R&B oldies or AOR music, right?
It was exactly as entertaining as you might think.
Fascism and let's kill all the black people.
And that is how I got a job, because it was exactly as entertaining as you would have thought.
That station also gave R. Lee Ermey a talk show.
The guy from Full Metal Jacket?
The guy from Full Metal Jacket. He had a talk show.
I would listen to that guy. I really would. If they let him do the Full Metal Jacket guy.
He often did the Full Metal Jacket.
Did he?
Yes.
Because he used to do a show on the History Channel on guns. Different guns, the history of different guns.
Oh boy. All right. I could tell you some Dr. Laura stories, but those will be off air. Okay, 40.
Oh boy.
Were you on her home station?
Yes,
yes,
same station.
They were on the same station.
Yeah, we were all in the same.
That Christmas party must have been great at that.
Oh yeah. It's fantastic. Okay, love you, Charlie. Say goodbye to your
thank
girlfriend.
You,
Welcome back, Mama. Good to see you. And happy 10th anniversary.
Thank you. Oh,
yes.
For Sexy
I
Liberal.
my video.
Thank you, honey. Love you.
Hi.